Evan sat awkwardly at the corner table of the Nebula Cafe, nursing his third synthetic coffee while pretending to study the holographic menu. The date was supposed to start 40 minutes ago. He checked his comm device again. No messages, no cancellations. Just the cruel silence of being stood up on a space station 300 light-years from Earth. The cafe buzzed with the usual crowd. Xanthari merchants arguing over trade routes, a couple of Valorian diplomats sharing encrypted data chips, and families from a dozen different species enjoying their evening meals. Evan was the only human in sight, which wasn't unusual this far into the Outer Rim colonies. He was about to signal for the bill when something small and scaled bumped into his table. Sorry, squeaked a tiny voice. Evan looked down to find a dragon girl, no more than 4 feet tall, staring up at him with enormous amber eyes. Her iridescent scales shimmered between emerald and sapphire under the cafe's soft lighting, and tiny wisps of smoke curled from her nostrils. She wore a child-sized jumpsuit with the emblem of the station security corps on the sleeve. "It's okay," Evan said, managing a smile despite his sour mood. "No harm done?" The little dragon girl glanced nervously over her shoulder, then back at Evan. Her tail swished anxiously behind her. "You're human," she whispered, as if sharing a dangerous secret. "Guilty as charged," Evan replied, unsure where this was going. She moved closer, standing on her tiptoes to reach his ear. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper, and what she said made Evan's blood run cold. "The Karvesh Collective is planning to attack Earth. Tonight. You need to warn them." Before Evan could respond, the dragon girl darted away, disappearing into the crowd with surprising agility. He sat frozen, his mind racing. The Karvesh Collective, a ruthless alliance of pirate clans and rogue military factions, had been a growing threat in this sector. But an attack on Earth? That was insane. Earth was the diplomatic heart of the Human Federation, protected by the most advanced defense grid in known space. Yet something in the child's eyes had been genuine, desperate, terrified. Evan's comm device buzzed. Finally, a message from his date. "Sorry, can't make it. Emergency at work. Rain check." He barely registered the words. His fingers were already flying across the holographic interface trying to contact Earth's Defense Command. Nothing. Every channel was blocked or showed bizarre system errors. That wasn't normal. That wasn't possible. "Having trouble with your device?" a smooth voice asked. Evan looked up to see a woman sliding into the seat across from him. She had striking features: high cheekbones, silver-streaked auburn hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, and eyes that held the kind of sharpness that came from years of military service. She wore civilian clothes, but something about her posture screamed soldier. "Who are you?" Evan asked cautiously. "Hannah Chen, Earth Intelligence Corps," she said quietly, showing him a discreet badge. "And you just had a very interesting conversation with Security Officer Pip's daughter. You were watching? We've been tracking Karvesh movements for 3 weeks. They've been jamming long-range communications in this sector, preparing for something big. We suspected Earth might be a target, but we couldn't prove it." Hannah leaned forward. "Until about 2 minutes ago, when a 4-year-old dragon girl whose father works in station intelligence decided to warn the only human she could find." Evan's hands clenched into fists. "So it's true? They're really going to attack Earth?" "Their fleet is moving into position as we speak. 47 warships, including 3 dreadnoughts." Hannah's expression was grim. "They think humanity is soft, that we've grown comfortable with our treaties and diplomatic solutions. They think one devastating blow will shatter us. Can we warn Earth in time? Not through conventional channels. The jamming is too sophisticated." Hannah pulled out a small data chip. "But there's another way. This station has a quantum relay. Old tech, but it can punch through the interference. The problem is it's in the restricted section, and I can't access it without causing a diplomatic incident." Evan understood immediately. "But I can. I'm just a civilian who got lost looking for the bathroom." A slight smile crossed Hannah's face. "I was hoping you'd say that." 20 minutes later, Evan was crawling through maintenance tunnels that definitely weren't designed for humans. The directions Hannah had given him were precise, but the journey was claustrophobic and terrifying. Twice he heard Karvesh voices above him, deep guttural tones discussing final preparations and complete surprise. He reached the relay station just as alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Someone had discovered the breach. Evan's hands shook as he inserted Hannah's data chip and initiated the sequence. The quantum relay hummed to life, its ancient machinery groaning. Come on, come on, Evan muttered. The door behind him exploded inward. 3 Karvesh soldiers stormed in, their beetle-like exoskeletons gleaming, weapons raised. Step away from the console, human, the lead soldier growled. Evan didn't move. The relay needed 15 more seconds. Did you know, he said, his voice surprisingly steady, that humans have a saying? Don't poke the bear. The soldier laughed, a harsh clicking sound. Your species is weak. This attack will prove it. That's where you're wrong, Evan said. The relay pinged, transmission complete. Humans aren't strong because we're the biggest or the toughest. We're strong because when you threaten our home, we don't stay down. We get back up every single time. The facility shook violently. Through the viewport, Evan saw the impossible. Earth's rapid response fleet dropping out of quantum space. Hundreds of ships, their weapons already charging. They'd received the warning. They'd mobilized in minutes. Hannah's voice crackled over Evan's comm. Extraction team incoming. Hold tight. The Karvesh soldiers looked at each other in confusion as their own fleet began to scatter, realizing their ambush had become a trap. The lead soldier turned back to Evan with something that might have been respect in his multifaceted eyes. Perhaps, he said slowly, we underestimated your species. Yeah, Evan replied, grinning despite his terror. People tend to do that. Later, after the excitement had died down and the Karvesh fleet had retreated in disarray, Evan found himself back at the Nebula Cafe. Hannah sat across from him, this time officially. So, she said, raising a glass of genuine Earth whiskey. How was your blind date? Evan laughed, the tension finally breaking. Weirdest one I've ever been on. But I think I met some interesting people. A small dragon girl peeked around the corner. Her mother, a full-size dragon warrior, standing protectively behind her. Pip waved shyly at Evan. He waved back. Sometimes, Evan thought, the most important moments in history start with the smallest voices. And sometimes being human means having the courage to listen. Earth was safe, for now. And that was enough. The end.